What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Coach Al Futrell YouTube channel. Since you're here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell. Don't forget to hit that like button for the algorithm. Now, since we're jumping off into this today, if you looked at the thumbnail, you're probably thinking, what does this have to do with health and fitness? Just stick around to the end of the video. I'm going to tie it all together because if you base your opinion just off of the thumbnail, you probably think I'm getting out of my element or speaking about things I don't know about, blah, blah, blah. All right, so today we're going to talk about the 5 red flags that guys need to look for in women. Now, women, look, I have no problem with women. Let's just go ahead and start there. If you are a woman and you get triggered or you get upset about what's said in this video, you are probably a habitual offender of, if not all 5, probably a couple of these things that I'm going to rattle off here. If you are a male and you get in your feelings about what I say today, A, you probably have a girl who shows you these characteristics and you don't know how to deal with it, or every relationship you get into, you deal with this stuff and then you allow it to keep happening. So now you got this pent up energy around these red flags or flaws, okay? So let's jump into number 1, which is a social media junkie. And here's what I mean by a social media junkie: the woman who always has to be on social media. More so, the woman who always has to post everything on social media. I'm talking about everything about her relationship, everything about her dog, her cat, her family, her job, her girlfriends, whatever it may be. It's just they are a social media junkie. And the reason why this is a red flag, because that is showing you that she needs outside validation, outside away from the relationship. That's why she's on social media this frequently, putting out all these posts, getting the likes, the comments. Yes, she gets a dopamine hit from this, so it drives her ego up. But at the same time, a lot of this stuff, she's doing it for external validation from others. So all the people who are not in the relationship. So she's not necessarily looking at the man to validate her. She's looking at all these people on the internet to validate her. And that is red flag number 1. So be careful of that. Okay. Number 2, the woman who steers you away from your purpose. Too many of you guys, you wrap your whole entire life around a female. And then the next thing you know, the goals that you once set, you're no longer as ambitious about those goals. The standard that you had set for yourself, you start to lower your standard because this woman is now inside of your realm and she's controlling what your purpose is to some degree. I'm not saying that she doesn't want to see you successful, but successful men know in order to be successful, there are sacrifices that we have to make. So we don't have time to lay up under the girl all day and do all the cute lovey-dovey shit left and right all the time. So you have to be aware of that. Number 2, which is a woman steering you off of your purpose. You need to stay on purpose. And the moment that you notice that you're getting off purpose, just go ahead and get back on purpose. And if she sticks around while you get back on purpose, fine. If she starts giving you shit because you got back on your purpose, you got back on your grind, you realize that this is a marathon, not a sprint, and you have things to accomplish, and some of the things that she wants to do inside of the relationship are preventing you from getting to your goals as a man. If she can't accept that, then maybe you just need to let her walk. But I'm going to give some grace there if the woman can embody that and understand that the man has to make these sacrifices in order to stay on his purpose and to provide for the both of them. Then that can be a good thing. But that is red flag number 2. Watch out for the female who steers you away from your purpose. Number 3, a gossip girl. So the woman who is just always in other people's business, and then she's always telling you other people's business. Best believe if your relationship, if shit hits the fan and it gets rocky, and then you guys end up breaking up, getting a divorce, whatever it may be, you can best believe if she's a gossip girl, you are getting ready to be the talk of the town. Now, when I say the talk of the town, I'm not saying she's, getting ready to make a damn poster and go stand out on the side of the road and, talk about how much of an asshole you were, this, that, and the third, and just spill all the beans about your relationship. When I say the talk of the town, listen, women talk to other women. So best believe she has a group chat with her friends. She has a group chat with her sister, her mother, her cousins, whoever it may be. They're getting on Zoom calls every other weekend with the family, this, that, and the third. And best believe when your name comes up, more times than not, it's probably going to get dragged through the mud. You are going to get shit on because there's little to no accountability with that type of woman. So when things go awry, when shit hits the fan, and then people start asking about what happened, she is going to shift all the blame onto you. And when that blame gets shifted onto you, the other thing is everything becomes your fault and then it gets put out there for others to hear. So it's going to become a situation of just hella gossip all over the place. Everything you did wrong. You're not too many not too many women are going to talk about the things you did right, but they're just going to talk about everything that you did wrong. So even if you had a million good things in comparison to 10 bad things, those million good things, those aren't going to be mentioned. Only the 10 bad things are going to be mentioned over and over. And again, I'm not talking about every single female that has a breakup or every single female that goes through a divorce. I'm talking about the woman who goes through those things, but she also has a background in being a gossip girl. That's what's going to happen, and that is red flag number 3. Now, red flag number 4. This is going to tie into the first one, so please pay attention. Red flag number 4. A woman that does not prioritize her health. And the reason why that ties into number 1, when I talked about that external validation from others, listen, guys, best believe a woman who has other suitors, other men in her DM, in her WhatsApp, in her Snapchat, her work husband, in her orbit, whatever you want to call it, as long as some man is giving her attention, she's going to be less likely to feel the need to change for you. Understand that. Women crave attention. That is a form of currency. So you will have women who will bypass getting in good shape. Again, I'm not here to tell every single woman that they need to be, quote unquote, a certain body fat percentage, or that, they can't have some stretch marks here and there, a little fluff, whatever it may be, on the thicker side, the skinnier side. I'm not here to tell women how they should look, but I'm letting you know that this is a red flag with some women, that they will not prioritize their health simply because they are getting validation from other men. So for you, she's not going to change because in the back of her mind, as long as there are men that are giving her attention, she doesn't really care to change for you unless she really likes you like that. And that might be the case. Again, I'm not here to tell everyone all their relationships or all their marriages are just doomed and, there's no hope. I'm speaking to the women who perform these actions. They're habitual offenders. They're probably not going to change. So they're just going to monkey branch and go from one person to the next. And when they get that external validation from other people, they are not going to change. Does that mean that they're never going to work out? That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is if you put the pressure on as the man and you make that a standard, like, hey, I don't need you to be in the greatest shape in the world, but since I embody my health and fitness and I prioritize it, I think it would be great for the relationship that you get in the gym, do some home workouts, get outside, get some walks in with the dog, do some Pilates, some spin classes, some bar, hit the weights here and there. If you make that part of the standard of the relationship, if she already has people outside of the relationship validating her, telling her how good she looks, or they're making little comments about her flirting to a degree, in the back of her mind, she's going to think, what do I need to get in shape for when I already have men validating how I look now? So you have to be very careful of that, because that's just how it works, man. Like, don't, again, here's what I think is going to happen. I think people are going to be mad at the messenger, which today just so happens to be me. But you need to understand, what you're upset with is the message. There's a difference there. Again, be upset with the message. Don't be upset with the messenger. All right? Because how it all boils down with a lot of these women who, give off a lot of these red flags, you have to understand, you think it's your girl. Take away the why. Get that out of there. That's silent. It's really our girl. Meaning, as long as she's getting that validation, as long as she's seeking that validation, she never really truly belongs to you. No one really ever truly belongs to anyone, if you ask me. Things can just go to shit just out of the blue. You never know. But understand that the why is silent. You think it's your girl, it's our girl. She's for everyone. And I'm not saying that every single woman is for the streets. Again, let's tie back to how I opened this video. If you are a woman and you get mad about the things that I am saying, you are probably a habitual offender when it comes to these red flags that I'm laying out. And if you are a male and you get upset about the things that I've said, you probably know your girl is an offender when it comes to these things, or you just can't find a way to not deal with girls who fall in this category. All right. So those are the first four. Hit that recap. So women who are social media junkies, women who steer you away from your purpose, women who are gossip girls, and women who don't prioritize their health. And then last, number 5, the woman who is overly materialistic. Now listen, I get it. We're humans. We like nice things for the most part. Not everybody is as, maybe off into high-end sports cars and designer clothes and fancy restaurants and jewelry and purses and bags and high-end frames and makeup and all that jazz. Not everyone is into it. I get it. Now, when I talk about being overly materialistic, I'm talking about the woman who would basically do anything to get to those things. Like, they would do anything for clout, anything to get to those things. That is a red flag, and you have to be aware of that. Because as a man, listen, there's always someone who is bigger, stronger, faster, more ripped, more shredded, looks better, chiseled jawline, has a nicer car, has a nicer house, has more access to funds to buy a woman these things. And if you are dealing with a woman who is overly materialistic, it's just a matter of time before the what you think is the unthinkable happens. And then bam, next thing you know, your whole situation, your relationship, your marriage, it's gone to shit. And it was all because she got to this other guy who was able to get her this particular bag, or she got to this other guy because she liked his car more than she liked your car, or she liked his house more than your living condition, or she saw his bank balance compared to your bank balance, all those things. So you have to be aware that there are women out there who are overly materialistic, and they are ready to leave you and the relationship at the drop of a dime to monkey branch onto the next guy. And then that next guy is probably going to find out after some time, again, because there's always that next person. Okay, you got a thousandaires to 100,000aires to millionaires to decamillionaires to 100 millionaires to billionaires to multi-billionaires. It never really stops. So if you're dealing with women who are showing some of these red flags, my honest opinion is you should probably stick to that woman and use her per se for recreational purposes only, because at some point, someone's going to scratch that itch and then you're going to be in a bad spot. And on the flip side, this could very well go for men. The women, there's red flags in men too, but I'm not about to be one of those guys who just hops on the internet and talks about all this, males do this and male do that. I don't have time for that. That's beta behavior, that's simp behavior, that's lover boy behavior. I don't have time to try to shit on men in order to try to make myself look good or make the next man look bad in order to try to get cool points with the girls. I'm going to let the guys who do that, they know who they are, they're out there. I'm going to let those guys do that. In the end, we all know how that works out. This is something I've known this since like third grade. The more a guy tries to tell a woman about another guy, the more intrigued she becomes about that other guy. So there are some guys who understand that. There's some who don't. The betas, the simps, the lover boys, that's just a hard lesson they end up having to find out the hard way when they try to shit on a guy or downplay or talk shit about the next man to the woman, thinking it's going to score him cool points with the girl. Really, that's just making her more intrigued to find out why you're saying these things about this other guy. And the same goes for girls. Girls try to shit on a guy and say, you shouldn't deal with him because of X, Y, and Z. And then that girl in the back of her mind, she's like, yeah, I hear you, but I still want to try it out for myself and see what it is, why everyone says this guy is so bad or he's so toxic. Okay, sorry that I got off topic there, but I just wanted to make that part known. Now, how this ties into health and fitness. Let's pull it back for the guys. Listen, when you deal with women who show some of, if not all of these red flags, it's going to be at the expense of your overall health and well-being. How? Because when she's a social media junkie and she's constantly chasing validation and you recognize this, if you don't know how to play it and you are a lover's boy, a simp, a beta, sucker for love, whatever you want to call it, it's going to eat you up inside to the point where it's causing you some mental unclarity. You're not thinking right because you're constantly thinking about what she's doing, who she's talking to in the DMs, who she's talking to on WhatsApp, who she's Snapchatting, all this stuff. So you having that thought process of, oh, I wonder if this is going on and I wonder if that is going on. It's going to hurt you mentally if you don't have the mental strength to deal with that. Now, when it comes to her not prioritizing her health, that's another red flag that we talked about, and that could rub off on you. She may say, well, you don't need to go to the gym today. You've already been to the gym 3 days this week. You've already been to the gym 4 days this week. Bro, that is a sign that she's trying to sabotage you. And once you fall for it, and then you stop going to the gym, or you lower your frequency, or you lower your standard, next thing you know, you're on the road to being more so unhealthy as compared to the model of health that you were maybe early in the relationship, because now you fell victim to the trap listening to her and having her tell you, you go to the gym too much. Why are you always weighing your food? Why are you always eating healthy? And the next thing you know, because you want to please her, you start deviating away from your own standards. So that can hurt your overall health and well-being. The other thing about the gossip girl, now that can ruin your overall health and well-being, because if lies get out, stories get out, and then people start saying things to you based upon what this female had to say because of her gossiping nature, Now, again, it's attacking you mentally. You got this shit on your brain that you don't need to have on your brain, all because she was a gossip girl. You chose to deal with it, and now it's got you all messed up. And as far as the other two things, validation through social media, not prioritizing the health, the gossip girl, being overly materialistic, and then driving you away from your purpose. Those two things, again, that can just tie into your overall health and well-being, because if you become overly focused on materialistic things and you get away from your purpose, shit, maybe your purpose is to build your business, it's to build yourself. And now you're out here chasing these materialistic things to please this woman. And now you're getting away from the purpose. You're getting away from building the business. You're getting away from bettering yourself. You're getting away from being a great role model to those who look up to you. So all these things, they all tie in together. I'm not a dating coach. I'm not some relationship guru. I'm just trying to make it known and help you understand that if you don't recognize these things with this female and then check it early on. Now, I'm not saying like you need to be a weirdo and be like, hey, give me your phone. Let me go through your messages and let me go through your DMs, this, that, and the other. Yeah, she's probably going to call you insecure or something like that if you tend to go that route. What I'm saying is, if these red flags come about and then you don't kind of shut that shit down and start to shift what the standard of the relationship is going to be, she's just going to end up walking all over you while committing all these red flags. And then in the end, you break up or you're divorced, the stories get out, this, that, and the third. And not only was the relationship a downer, detrimental, now your overall health and well-being is compromised as well. So let me know what you guys think about this. Did I hit on some bad things? Remember, don't be mad at the messenger, more so just be upset with the message. I don't really think any of this is new information, but for the guy who is struggling with women and you just can't get past these red flags, or you always end up with a girl who, shows you some of these red flags, and then at the end of the relationship, you're like, damn, I knew it was going that route, and you got your feelings and your heart all into it, and then it all went to shit. How many more times are you gonna have to learn the hard way? So again, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Share your opinion, which is fine. You have the right to. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notification bell. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.